In modern science communication, especially in educational settings, there are often claims made with subtle but significant biases that lead to misunderstandings. A glaring example is the common refrain, "Central London should be the last place that you find gorillas." But here, behind the glass in the zoo, these majestic animals offer a glimpse into our past. Statements like this imply that humans are mere evolved apes, and that our evolutionary history is dominated by our primal ancestors, essentially portraying our beginnings as a simple extension of these animals. This perspective reduces human existence to a shallow narrative where the intricacies of evolution are boiled down to little more than "we are apes." It encourages a harmful subconscious reprogramming that shapes how individuals perceive both themselves and the universe. The results are detrimental, particularly in reinforcing atheistic ideologies that present humans as random animals without deeper purpose or insight, contributing to dangerous philosophies like nihilism and social Darwinism. Let's explain the flawed logic of ape classification. One of the primary issues with these simplified descriptions is the erroneous classification of humans as apes, based solely on body shape, hands, or other superficial traits. By that flawed logic, we could equally be classified as koalas, given that koalas have similar fingerprints to humans. Does this mean we are also great koalas? Obviously not. While we were once simple organisms swimming in the primordial seas, no one says humans are great fish. Instead, the focus should be on the functions that define our current biology. As intelligent organisms, we should be identified by our capacity for reason and survival through intelligence, not by the biological suits we wore in the distant past. What this shows is that classifications should be based on the unique functions of each organism and their position within the tree of evolution, rather than on earlier forms that we use to survive within the context of natural selection. Human beings have moved far beyond their early biosuits, or shells, such as those worn by our ape-like ancestors. Yet science communication often clings to these previous biological forms, rather than recognizing the profound evolutionary developments that have occurred since then. Another thing that many don't get it that we're not coming from modern apes. We just share a common ancestor with modern apes. We have evolved into organisms defined by a far more complex set of traits, primarily our intelligence. Anyway, instead the focus should be on the functions that define our current biology. As intelligent organisms, we should be identified by our capacity for reason and survival through intelligence, not by the biological suits we wore in the distant past. Let's see the correct way to communicate evolution. The correct approach to evolution should be to emphasize how life began 3.8 billion years ago with the first majestic living organisms, simple yet remarkably resilient cells. These cells survived by adapting and becoming more complex over time. In those early epochs, survival was the only imperative, and there was no concept of fear, emotion, or animalistic dominance. In this framework, human evolution is the story of survival through complexity and adaptation, not merely an extension of apes. To better understand what we are today, we need to recognize that we are essentially giant, organized cells with one primary goal: survival. What separates humans from other organisms is our biological apex mechanism, intelligence. Intelligence allows us not just to survive, but to thrive by predicting and avoiding threats, including those to our mental well-being. One of the greatest threats to human mental survival is boredom, which arises from the repetition of information. This suggests that our intelligence is designed to download and process ever more complex information to ensure continued survival through the expansion of knowledge. Therefore, humanity is not merely a species driven by primal urges, as some would suggest, but a highly intelligent organism designed to continuously refine survival strategies. The harmful impact of miscommunication. The misrepresentation of human evolution, such as referring to us as apes, or focusing solely on our primal biological traits results in far-reaching consequences. It reinforces a reductive view of humanity, which can lead to harmful ideologies like social Darwinism and nihilism. Social Darwinism, with its emphasis on survival of the fittest and the notion that might makes right, emerges from the flawed idea that humans are just animals competing for dominance. Similarly, nihilism, often linked to the belief that life is random and devoid of meaning, gains traction when we are constantly reminded that we are little more than evolved apes. This not only diminishes human dignity, but also erodes the sense of purpose that comes with recognizing the complexity of human intelligence and the depth of our evolutionary journey. By focusing on primitive aspects of human nature, these miscommunications also obscure the real potential of human intelligence. Evolutionarily, we are not just apes. We are a unique species with the capacity for reason, foresight, and strategic survival. Teaching students that humans are mere products of their hormones and emotional drives only serves to strengthen these subconscious reprogrammings, leading people to believe that emotions or instincts are the apex mechanism of human nature, which they are not. This issue extends beyond biology and into language. Even in everyday classifications, we reinforce primal, animalistic views of humans by referring to individuals as male and female, which are terms rooted in sexuality. These descriptors emphasize primal reproductive drives rather than the complex, intelligent beings that we have become. A more accurate classification would be man and woman, terms that acknowledge human capacity beyond primal instincts and highlight the evolution of human identity beyond mere sexuality. By constantly using these primal descriptors, we are subconsciously reminded of our biological programming, which keeps us anchored to our earlier evolutionary forms. This kind of miscommunication, even in the simplest terms, has a profound effect on the way individuals perceive themselves and their role in the universe. Conclusion: to foster a more accurate understanding of evolution, it is essential to move beyond superficial classifications and reductive narratives. Humans are not merely apes, and presenting us as such distorts both our evolutionary history and our potential for future growth. Instead, we should be teaching that we are intelligent organisms, a culmination of billions of years of survival and adaptation, with intelligence as the apex mechanism driving our evolutionary success. By focusing on this narrative, we can avoid the pitfalls of harmful ideologies like social Darwinism and nihilism and promote a more accurate, constructive view of humanity's place in the universe.